the Board of Adjustments for February 24th, 2025. Madam Secretary, would you do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Debbie Powell,
Here.
Todd Fisher,
Here.
Chairman Rentschler,
Here.
Bill Barrett,
Here.
Matthew Schwabel,
Here.
Timothy Radzicki.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, we have a quorum. Tonight, we are here to hear a variance, V 25-01, filed by Joseph and Christina Bourne, property located at 9223 Edwards Place, tax parcel 137-231-14. Anybody who wants to give any testimony to this board needs to come up and be sworn in.
Minutes. Approval of minutes.
Oh, one note to make. We have a quorum tonight, but it will take a unanimous vote to pass the ordinance. One no vote and it's declined. So as the applicant, do you wish to proceed? All right. Anyone who wants to give any testimony needs to come up and be sworn in.
Before they come up, can we approve those minutes?
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. You would have thought I'd done this before. Approval of minutes from the July 22nd regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Who seconded that?
A motion did and second. You can't do that.
Just get moving here.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second.
Let's do it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Any reports for committees and members of the staff?
No, sir.
Thank you. Any old business? Nope. New business, as I previously stated, the variance request for V25-1. Anyone who wants to present any testimony this evening needs to come up and be sworn in. That includes the applicant and anybody else.
There's 6 copies, but there's 2 pieces of paper. Could you get each?
Right here.
I'll do that while you get sworn in.
Probably gonna need both of these, it looks like.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
All right, do you swear or affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is best, is the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief, so help you God? Yes. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we approach the podium, can I just ask them first, last name, and property address?
Yep. Yep, the applicant, you get up, you're first.
Thank you all.
Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Joseph Bourne, 9223 Edwards Place, here in Mint Hill. Not much of a speaker, so I will be reading most of my prepared notes. Hopefully you all have been through the variance and seen what we are asking for. We've lived in our home 33 years, and our garage has just been too small to really be able to use it. Okay. Okay. We looked into adding on the back side of the garage and also adding a detached garage. Both options destroyed our septic repair area and had several issues other than that. Our septic system is 33 years old too. In dry summers, we could see 5 distinct lines in our front yard where the septic's located. Now we see 1 to 1.5 lines, and one of our neighbors down the street had to have their septic field moved just here recently. According to my research, a septic system on average lasts 20 to 30 years, but could last up to 50. Time will come when we will need the repair area. My understanding is we're nowhere close to getting city or county sewage lines in our neighborhood. Moving the Perry area would put it too close to our well, which would require us to abandon our well. And this would add a lot of cost to be able to hook up the water and get the water up to the house. Our frontage is almost 150 feet across at the front of the front. The rear narrows down to about 90 feet in the back. So the lot tapers in, especially on the garage side at the back of the proposed garage addition. We're down to about 117 feet across. You take away the 20-foot setback on either side, that leaves us 77 feet of home area that we could have a home on. Our home is only 1,900 square feet. It's not like we built a mansion there, like a 3,000 or 4,000 square foot house. It was a ranch, and it's not too big for the lot. So if it wasn't for this tapering, we would have the additional space that we needed, and that's why we have to ask for this. Building the garage where proposed, we would have about another 200 feet of runoff because it's sitting on the current drive where our driveway is right now. It extends another 7 feet behind the driveway, so that's where 7 times 28 feet. It'd be about 200 more feet of runoff. If we build a detached down in the yard, it's going to create 1,200 square feet of runoff. If we build it on where the driveway is, the runoff's going to go down and go into the drainage system on the street. But if we build it in the back, it all goes down the back of the yard. And this is significant because my neighbor behind me catches ours and our neighbor's runoff as we are all at the peak of the development. And his yard already floods when we get hard rains. So if we put 1,200 square feet with, a driveway and a extended driveway plus a building, it's going to create a lot more runoff that goes down through his yard. Our lot drops about 1 foot every 10 feet in the area where we want to build if we built a detached garage, that's where it would be with a runoff like that. So it's going to really get a head of steam going down into his yard. My wife and daughter both have RA, rheumatoid arthritis. Having a detached garage, of course, will help them be able to age in place in the home. Handicap ramp could easily be installed in the current garage whereas a detached garage would present all sorts of challenges for handicap access to the house. Our proposed garage is going to match our house in all aspects. The same brick is available. It's going to be totally bricked. The roof line will match the existing structure. Shingles will be the same color. Gutter and trim will match all the existing structure. It'll look like it's always been there. And according to my research, a garage addition is more valuable than a detached garage. So adding a garage would not it would be worth more to the neighborhood, not just to us, but to the whole neighborhood. It'll be a lot more visually appealing to our neighbors. In addition, my neighbor on the one side, her house got a wider lot, and she was able to build over about 50 feet from the property line. So if you go by looking on the road, you're not going to see all of a sudden we're like 30 feet apart anymore. So, and that's all I had.
All right.
Any questions or anything?
Anyone have any questions? Ms. Powell?
I do not.
No questions this time, thank you.
No, I'm good.
If you build it attached, which way is the roof going to pitch? Towards the street or towards the neighbor's house?
We are going, we'd do a hip roof just like with the.
So it'd mimic off the original house?
It's going to go all over, but all the drainage will go down the yard.
Down the yard into the sewer?
Yeah, but if it's up at the top, a lot of it'll be able to go down our current driveway and into the street.
Okay. No more questions.
So yeah, if we did it detached, we would make it match our existing structure as well, you know, with the hip roof and the same brick. I mean, we wouldn't do anything differently. It's just that, you know,
I was just thinking about the runoff, not flooding out the neighbor to the side of you, or putting too much
it's
water
not
to
the
the
ones on the
storm.
side, it's the one below. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
the side wouldn't be affected, you know. I mean, one way or the other, if we build one, it's gonna be 8 feet from our neighbor on the right. And, you know, it'll just be more, I mean, like I said, be less complications down the road and, you know, now for us if it's attached.
It's a lot easier to build it attached.
Yeah. Anything else?
No question.
All right, then,
Thank you.
anybody else care to speak?
going to speak, and this is very important. So after he speaks, each person needs to get a copy of this or before, either way. Okay? Am I allowed to do that? This would be on the bottom. This was-
Should have all been presented on.
this is for- No, no, what this gentleman here will say, I have something I want to add. So I either do it.
You just need to stand up and say it, yeah.
Please state your name and address for the minutes.
My name is Steve Hodge. I live at 9211 Edwards Place here in Mint Hill. Respectfully, I'm here to express my opposition to this. Like I stated, my property is 9211 Edwards Place, which adjoins the petitioner's property on the west side. My wife and I knew about the 20-foot setbacks when we built our home in 1993. Our lot is also pie-shaped and narrows in the rear of the property. Although we wanted a larger home, we knew and accepted the limitations of the property. We certainly did not want to infringe on our neighbor's property and their rights. Although the petitioner states otherwise, I feel this variance will adversely affect adjacent property owners. The neighbor closest to the proposed garage will have to contend with the building being right on top of their property line, which could impact any future plans they may have for that side of their property. It would also place limitations on any future property owners of that property. I feel the variance will affect the aesthetics and change the character of the neighborhood. Currently, because of the setbacks, there is uniformity and plenty of spaces between the houses in our neighborhood. I urge you to disapprove the proposed variance. My opinion and concerns are shared by other property owners on Edwards Place that for various reasons wish to remain silent. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I want to ask him a question.
Yeah, sir?
I would like to ask you a question. So what you're not liking is it's going to be 8 feet from the property.
Yes, sir.
But do you realize, I mean, he's allowed to do a detached garage, and it would be 8 feet from the property also. So what is your feeling about that?
Ma'am,
Just the,
If that's correct? That's what he was stating.
They're trying to do a side yard, so that's why it would be the 20-foot, because then we would be within the setback of the home. It's not located in the rear yard. That's not where they're wanting to put it. They're asking for a variance to get it in the side yard, which would then be a 20-foot side setback.
If they do the detached, it's going to be in the rear or the side?
Yeah, what they're proposing to do is a side yard garage, and so that would be a 20-foot setback, would be the ordinance. And they're asking for the variance to get it to 8 feet, which 8 feet is the typical for the backyard, for the rear yard. Those are, every single day.
Right.
Accessory structures pass 8 feet from the rear and side property lines, but not in the side yard.
Oh, I thought he said he was going to do, if he couldn't do the attached, that he would do a detached on the side, and it would be allowed, and it'd be 8 feet. That's not right?
No,
He's wanting to do it.
20. 20
It would
feet
ha-
is the ordinance for the side yard
Okay.
detached. Well, I mean detached or attached, because it's the same setbacks as the home. So
Okay, I
even if they
misunderstood
attach.
him.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, thank you.
What's next?
Move 30 feet back from where we're proposing.
30 feet back and then 8 feet closer,
30, yeah.
but it would still be your rear.
Still be 8 feet either way.
Good evening.
State your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Elizabeth Walker. I live at 9216 Edwards Place, almost across the street from the Bournes. And the comments I'd like to offer are, I think that the Bournes have really tried very hard. They've been spending a lot of time and money on this. They've tried very hard to make this work from the standpoint of the water runoff, from the standpoint of the aesthetics, from the standpoint of how it's going to look. They've worked with architects and so on. They want the house, the garage is going to look like it's part of the house. And I think that's really important to keep the integrity of our neighborhood going. And it's, to my knowledge, that they have spoken to their neighbor on the other side from Steve, and that I think she is okay with this. And as Jody mentioned, she's a fair number of feet off the property line, so it's not going to look like they're on top of each other. And I'd also like to mention, a few years ago, there was a large metal building built on our little street, our little cul-de-sac, and it doesn't look anything like any of the houses on our street. We do not have a legal covenant, but all of us who have been there for many years, me included, have tried very hard to live by that informal covenant, to make our houses look the way we all intended them to look. And we have this metal building at the end of the street, and with all due respect to all of you, it doesn't even begin to comply with the ordinances. It's just really, in my opinion, it's an eyesore. And I'm really, really surprised that this building was allowed, and now there's rumblings that another neighbor is thinking about doing the same thing. So with all of the work that the Bournes have done to make this look and serve right and make it look as an enhancement to our neighborhood, I don't have any problem with this and think that it should be a go. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Was he sworn in?
No.
No, I've not been sworn in. Need to swear him in.
You need to come up and be sworn in first. And right in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give to this is the truth and to the best of your knowledge and belief, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right. Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Matthew P. Address 14005 Shanghai Links Place, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28278. I have served as the general contractor for an existing project with the Bournes here at 9223 Edwards Place. And for the purpose of this hearing, I just want to be able to offer some more technical expertise as I have reviewed the plans and seen exactly what it is that they're intending to do here in the future with this potential garage addition. The work I've performed for them was an approved deck out back, so something separate from that. And this garage, of course, hasn't happened yet because we're here requesting a variance. But from my observations of this, and an attached garage just seems to be the most practical option. When we look at things from a runoff perspective, they're talking about building a garage on the existing parking pad. So we're not changing the impervious surface by much. From what I understand, it is going to be a 7 foot by 30-foot addition to the impervious area. So minimal square footage there. It is going to be a hip roof that currently matches the style of the existing hip roof. And at least with that, 2 of those 3 sides will shed water back onto the driveway and down the front, not going back onto the neighboring or adjacent yards. So that certainly would help with that water runoff. From my observations of their current well location and the designated repair area that they have, that well sits pretty much the center of their yard. It could be adjusted by maybe 20 feet one direction or another, but there's a required 50 feet of setback around that well area. And they really just don't have any other options for moving it much and being able to, add in a repair area as it eventually is going to be necessary. That's just the nature of septic systems there. One of the other factors is, as we measured between the 2 houses, currently the home on the, let's see, that's north, south, east. The home on the east side, not the home of this gentleman here, there's 84 feet between that home. The way the lots are set up, there's a permanent driveway. This new addition here is going to move over by roughly 30 feet, but still as measured, leaves them with over 10 feet of setback off the property line. Just by the way the houses are designed and designated there, they're never going to run into a situation where things are just too tight and cramped. The neighbor next door could possibly change their garage to a forward, I don't know that they're allowed to have forward entry garages in the neighborhood, but they could do that and there's still about 40 feet of separation between the homes. So there's not going to be some special, tightness that goes along here. The neighbor on the west side, based off of their house, they currently have 22 feet of setback between them and the fence line. That's always going to be maintained. There'll never be anything built on that other side there. And it is currently fenced with a 6-foot fence. So there's nothing to even see through there. But just from a use standpoint, this allows them to age in place. We had a discussion about the potential for a handicap ramp being added later. The way that things are set up for them, a handicap ramp that ran from their front door back to their parking area is going to be almost 70 feet long. And it's going to look terrible. I mean, just think of a 70-foot ramp in front of a residential structure. Inside their home, inside their garage, they could possibly abandon the garage and have a ramp that comes down and loops back. But how does that fare for 2 people with rheumatoid arthritis, an older child with Down syndrome? Just the likelihood of them being able to maintain a good quality of life as they have for the past 30 years it kind of looks a lot rougher if they have to do a detached garage 30 feet back into the yard there. So just those basic things, in my opinion, make it a minimal inconvenience and a go. Yeah. But of course, if you guys have any questions, happy to answer.
Anyone have any questions?
Let me see if I got this right. This attached garage is going to be continuation of the brick wall in the front of the house. Is that correct?
That is correct. It sits on the exact same plan, will match, exact same plane, and will match the existing roof line. It will
Be a
not
front
any taller.
entry?
It will be a front entry, yep.
Just curious, what are they going to do with the other garage doors? Are they just going to convert that to a room? Just off record, I'm just curious.
So the plan is for that area to be able to, again, accommodate a ramp to get down later on. So right now, a ramp that goes down and cuts back would end up being, you talk 3 feet, 3.5 feet. So you need roughly 8 feet or so for a ramp to come down, stop, platform, and come back. And so most of that space will be occupied for that. The rest just continue storage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Sorry, based on the current architectural plan, what is the remaining setback, side yard setback?
So the remaining, on the plan that they would like to put there, they would have, the plans as they're actually drawn, I believe it says it is 8 1/4, but actually surveyed, it works out to be right at 10 feet of setback, get off the property line.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Who else? Please.
She hasn't been sworn in, so.
She sworn, okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge and and belief, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Like to see a potential plan for what it's going to look like? Would you all like to?
I would, yeah.
Yep.
Now, the other thing I want, this is a rebuttal to Mr. Hodge. I've taken a lot of time to put this together. This has been, this garage that Betsy was speaking of. You'll notice that when Mr. Hodge goes into his home and leaves his home every single day, and his wife as well.
Yes, she
they
needs to be
can
by
turn
the
to right and-
Speak from the
microphone.
Can I get these out?
Sure.
Pass those out and then get to the stand.
Just gonna put off the
Thank you.
back. On the front of the house.
Thank you.
Okay, ready? Okay, so what I would like to say is that Mr. Hodge is worried about how it's going to affect the beauty of the neighborhood. So 4 doors down from my home and 3 doors down from Mr. Hodge, there is a metal building that's, I think, 30 by 40. It was applied for, a permit was applied for, it was granted. And you can see that in your ordinances, it does not match the home. It was put up, several people complained, no one took it down, no one did anything about it. So it's been allowed to stay there. And I think they run there's a business that he's part-time running out of there. I can't remember what it is. But anyway, that's fine that he has that garage, and it's okay, no one's asking him to take it down. But I want you to keep that in perspective when you look at what I'm trying to do with an all-brick, match the home, which is exactly what your ordinances are. You'll notice that I gave you a picture of Mr. Hodge's mailbox, and he can look, every time he comes home, he's facing that storage that big metal building. Every time he leaves, if he turns to the right, he's going to see Mark Thomas's storage building. So I really have a hard time understanding how he could not complain or be upset about Mark's storage building, but he would come here and complain about something that we're trying to do. I do believe that it is personal because Mr. Hodge planted, I think, 10 or 12 cypress trees on the side of our property. And we've been there 33 years. He's been there probably 32. They outgrew their life. They grew over towards us. He had very little growth on his side. They were leaning towards our home. And it was for us to get them to remove those trees. It has been very, very complicated and very difficult. And there's been a lot of very ugly words exchanged by his wife. So he's got a personal agenda here. And I'm just giving you evidence that he sees another building that is very ugly, but yet he would try to cause problems for me to try to have this building. And I guess that's really all I need to say. Do you have any more questions?
I think there's a second metal building in that neighborhood, is there not?
There is going to be, we have heard that the neighbor right beside Mr. Thomas is considering putting another building up.
There's already 2 in there.
On the main drag coming in.
There's also another one, but Mark Thomas's neighbor has told Betsy that they are considering a building just like Mark's building.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. Okay. At this point, we will go into our fact-finding. Unnecessary hardships would result from the strict application of the ordinance. Ms. Powell.
Unnecessary hardships would result from the strict application of the ordinance in that, without a variance, additional mobility challenges would be created as the existing garage is too small to park a vehicle and accommodate a handicap ramp.
Mr. Fisher?
I agree with Ms. Powell.
I agree with Ms. Powell. Mr. Barrett?
I agree.
Mr. Schwabel?
I agree.
I agree.
The hardship results from conditions that are peculiar to the property, such as location, size, or topography. Ms. Powell?
The hardship results from conditions that are peculiar and that the lot narrows in the rear, which accommodates a well, septic system, and an additional space needed for future repairs and does not allow space for a detached garage.
Mr. Fisher?
I agree with Ms. Powell.
I agree with Ms. Powell. Mr. Barrett?
Agree.
Agree.
The hardship will not result in actions taken by the applicant or the property owner. Ms. Powell?
The hardship did not result from actions taken by the applicant or the property owner, as the hardship created by the physical shape and uniqueness of the rear yard was the result of the lot development.
Mr. Fisher?
I agree with Ms. Powell.
I agree with Ms. Powell. Mr. Barrett?
Agree.
Agree.
I agree.
The requested variant is consistent with the spirit, purpose, and intent of the ordinance, such as public safety is secured and substantial justice is achieved. Ms. Powell?
The requested variance is consistent with the spirit, purpose, and intent of the ordinance in that no public harm will be done, as it will not detract from the value of the neighboring homes or look out of place, and a variance helps prioritize safety and accessibility while not creating a visual distraction, such as a larger outer ramp, and permits the best handicap accessibility.
Mr. Fisher?
I agree with Ms. Powell.
I agree with Ms. Powell. Mr. Barrett?
I agree.
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 At this time, I'll accept a motion on this.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve variance request V 25-1 filed by Joseph and Christina Byrne, property located at 9223 Edwards Place, being tax parcel 137-23114, requesting a variance to reduce the side setback for placement of an attached garage located in the side yard. My motion to approve is for the following reasons. Unnecessary hardship would result from the strict application of the ordinance, in that without a variance, additional mobility challenge would be created, as the existing garage is too small to park a vehicle and accommodate a handicap ramp. The hardship results from conditions that are peculiar to the property, and that the lot narrows in the rear, which accommodates a well, septic system, and additional space needed for future repairs, and does not allow for a detached garage. The hardship was not created by the property owner, as the hardship of the physical shape and uniqueness of the rear yard was the result of the lot development. A variance would keep with the spirit, purpose, and intent of the ordinance, such that public safety is secured and substantial justice is achieved, and that no public harm will be done, as it will not detract from the value of the neighboring homes or look out of place. And a variance helps prioritize safety and accessibility while not creating a visual distraction, such as a large outer ramp, and permits the best handicap accessibility.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Madam Secretary, would you call the roll for the vote, please?
Yes, sir. In favor of Mrs. Powell's motion, Todd Fisher,
I agree.
Chairman Rensselaer,
I agree.
Bill Barrett,
Agree.
Matthew Schwabel.
I agree.
I agree. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Unanimously approved.
All right, variance request 25-1 filed by Joseph and Christina Bourne, property located at 9223 Edwards Place, tax parcel 137-231-14. Variance has been approved for the setback of the attached garage. Any other business? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
Thank you, guys.
At the same time, Fisher.